in the health policies around the world make the problem defy solution. The distribution of food across the world with food carrying antibiotic-resistant organisms and genes has made worldwide measures ineffective. We have also found antibiotic-resistant pathogens and genes in the flora of cockroaches. Thus, we see that insects are also reservoirs of resistomes and may be difficult to control. The movement of water in rivers and oceans across borders in the world can promote the movement of antibiotic-resistant organisms because it may be difficult to enforce effective sanitation systems that could decrease the transmission of resistant organisms through wastewater worldwide. It is difficult, therefore, to measure the extent of the resistance problem on a global scale. Doing so requires very rigorous, well-coordinated surveillance network, which is lacking and may be impracticable. Antibiotic resistance is never going to go away. No matter how many drugs we throw at it, no matter how much money and resources are sacrificed to wage the war, it will always prevail. Just as we cannot live without microorganisms, so it is with antibiotic resistance. We are just to find effective ways to cope with harmful microorganisms which may be resistant to antibiotics. Antibiotic resistance, the indefatigable warriors. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, bacteria are quick to develop resistance to antibiotics. They can develop resistance through certain physiological processes, such as reduced uptake into a cell, active efflux from the cell. In fact, to tell you that as we live now, there have been cases of the presence of multiple efflux pump reported in literature. Eliminated or reduced binding of antibiotics to set target, enzyme cleavage, or modification to inactivate antibiotic molecule, metabolic bypass of inhibited reactions, or overproduction of antibiotic target. Besides this, resistance can occur through spontaneous mutations. Bacteria can also take up genetic material containing antibiotic-resistant genes from the environment. Antibiotic resistance is also encoded in the DNA of bacteria on one or more genes. Therefore, a gene may control the bacterium to produce a chemical that destroys the antibiotic molecule. This is seen in the resistance to beta-lactam antibiotics and the cephalosporins. In a study carried out at Olabisi Onabanjo University Hospital, Shagamu, on type 2 diabetic patients with asymptomatic bacteriuria, we found the antibiotic susceptibility profiles of the enteric bacteria isolated, revealing a multi-drug resistance pattern. Results show that many of the isolates produce multiple extended spectrum beta-lactamases. For example, BLA-CTXM and BLA-SXV genes were present in the genome of the urinary pathogens isolated, some of which possess a combination of 2 or more different genes that code for several resistances to antibiotics. The observation from this study could be associated with the ease of acquisition of resistant genes borne on mobile genetic elements such as plasmids, integrons, and transposons. Plasmids is circular bacterial DNA that exists naturally inside many bacterial cells, are known to contain genes that carry antibiotic resistance. In actual fact, plasmids of different sizes were found in bacteria isolated from lime juice sold as medicinal condiment in the Nigerian local market. That was in 2003. And majority of the isolates were resistant to ampicillin, clozacillin, penicillin, and streptomycin. Antibiotic-resistant genes are easy to get, but difficult to lose. Microorganisms, being large in number and combined with their short generation times, have a wide range of mechanisms to facilitate the development of mutant strains. Bacteria are now known to form cooperative societies. They can survive the action of antibiotics by the formation of multi-layer conglomeration of diverse species of bacteria called biofilms, especially on surfaces of prosthetics and catheters used in the treatment of ailments. These little warriors with the physiology, genomics, cell walls, enzyme, etc., have become indefatigable warriors that are difficult to conquer. Microorganisms adapt to their environment with ease. Changes to the environment mean to them evolution of new mechanisms and strategies to resist the change. It is this versatility and the enormous diversity of genes possessed by them that make them little warriors that the big man is yet to conquer. Antibiotic resistance, the impotent weapons. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, antibiotics, once hailed as powerful medical solutions, now face global resistance by disease-causing microorganisms, particularly with beta-lactam antibiotics. Despite efforts to combat resistance through modifications, challenges persist due to diverse beta-lactamases. The rise of resistance in a range of pathogens, coupled with diminishing efficacy of aminoglycosides, compound the issue. The pursuit of new antibiotics proves futile, as microorganisms possess an extensive array of genes to counteract them, echoing the ominous sentiment of new antibiotics and new resistance. That was said by Amiable Covenas in 2003. Antibiotics, paradoxically, contribute to their own demise by promoting genetic exchange, fostering antibiotic resistance clones when they act as ecological effectors after they are dumped in the soil. The reason why Levy titled this article in 1992, "The Antibiotic Paradox: How the Miracle Drugs Are Destroying Their Miracle." Even prudent antibiotic use cannot halt resistance, as evidenced by Cuba's experience. If you are interested in the Cuba experience thing, you can read the reference there. In the ongoing battle against antibiotic resistance, formulating an effective strategy presents a formidable challenge. Confronting resilient adversaries with conventional antibiotics adds an additional layer of complexity to this Herculean task. As we navigate through this undeniable warfare, it becomes evident that the narrative surrounding antibiotic resistance will persist for the foreseeable future. In our pursuit of solutions, it is crucial to recognize the evolving nature of this challenge. The staleness of the tale of antibiotics is likely to endure over an extended period. As we stand at the forefront of this crucial or critical issue, let us remain steadfast in our commitment to unraveling the complexities of antibiotic resistance and shaping a resilient defense against this ongoing threat. Concluding remarks and contribution to knowledge. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, and distinguished audience, having posited in this lecture that antibiotic resistance is not going to go away, we fold our hands, close our eyes, and allow this threat to escalate? Not in the least. While antibiotic resistance is undoubtedly a global issue, it also requires shared responsibility by different countries. Each country is expected to engage in actions and interventions that are specific to their health system in controlling the escalation of this global threat. Efforts should also be made to explore alternatives to antibiotics in the treatment of infections. The One Health framework could be a good way of tackling this problem at the national and regional levels. Perhaps also, government and regulatory agencies could formulate policies and action plans to combat this menace by addressing the issue of counterfeit substandard drugs to control quality and potency, and then legislation to prohibit the sale of antibiotics without prescription, thereby enforcing the prudent access and use of antibiotics, among other measures. All these are expected to help in slowing down the emergence of resistant organisms and not necessarily disappearance of resistance. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, within this last 1 hour, taking us through what I have spent my energy and resources doing in the last 32 years to ameliorate the suffering of man and animals in the hands of disease-causing microorganisms. I have highlighted my contributions to the study of diarrhea in man and animal in Nigeria. I have also reported the danger posed by opaeyin to unsuspecting consumers. I have highlighted the burden of antibiotic resistance and the need for concerted efforts in curbing it. I have, in collaboration with others, contributed to research in fish pathology. I have also succeeded in training many students who are drivers of research and trainers in the aspect of medical and public health microbiology. I believe in myself that I'm a fulfilled microbiologist. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, as I reminisce of my sojourn in the academia and all I have gone through in this university, I wish to quote an apt scripture. He raised up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he had set the world upon them. This is a summary of the life of the man standing before you today to deliver the 116th inaugural lecture of this great university. Recommendations. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, at a time in China's history, the nation closed its doors to the world. Nigeria as a country has very rich resources of intellectual personnel in the sciences, engineering and technology, education, liberal arts and humanities, communication and social sciences, and management sciences to solve our social, economic, cultural, educational, political, and technological needs. We need to close up and engage in meaningful research across all disciplines that will impact our national life based on local content. I therefore recommend that we should have a consortium of researchers drawn from all universities across the country in every discipline to carry out meaningful collaborative research to begin to find solutions to the myriads of problems confronting the nation. By the same token, I recommend that conventional and non-conventional universities be given research mandates which should be fulfilled within a specific time frame and which should be with full funds drawn from TED Fund and without governmental bureaucratic bottlenecks. We are here to explore the vast reservoir of the usefulness of microorganisms in serving humanity. My thought over the years is that microorganisms are veritable vaults of resources that man can harness to meet some of our basic needs. However, one basic hindrance to doing this is the apparent lack of adequate knowledge of microbiology by the people. Louis Pasteur, the father of modern medicine and indeed microbiology, said, and I quote, "Science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is a torch which illuminates the world." End of quote. It is in the light of this that I want to recommend the study of microbiology at all levels of education, primary to post-secondary. This is to enable everyone to have general knowledge of the key activities of microorganisms and hence be able to provide new means of employment. In other words, we can enhance our economy through bioeconomy. I also want to propose the establishment of an Institute of Microbiology where we have research scientists, microbiologists, whose main duty will be to carry out research that is tailored towards meeting each of the sustainable development goals. Our legislatures should expedite action in approving the Microbiology Council of Nigeria bill so as to drive this initiative. Microbiology is a practical-oriented course. In my days at the University of Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, a 1 to 2 hour lecture in any science course, including microbiology, is followed by a 3-hour practical. Over the years, these had gradually died out because of the paucity of funds and over-subscription to the cause. Government should therefore again see the need to acknowledgement. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, no man becomes anything by himself. My rise to this level is by the grace of God and the goodwill of many people, which I have enjoyed copiously. I have attempted the list of all who had played any positive role in my academic pursuit and career development, and it had drawn into 15 pages. I decided to abandon the list and just mention some. Some of these people come as a blessing, and others as a lesson, both of which are necessary to make a man. I wish to acknowledge and thank the following: the Vice Chancellor, Professor Ayodeji Johnson Agbola, Professor Olatundu Oderinde, Professor Charles Adekoya, Mr. Femi Ogunwomoju, Professor Onifade, Mr. Showumi, and every one of you who make up this audience for the large doses of patience and tolerance to sit through and listen to 1 hour of mainstreaming antibiotic resistance issue into our busy life of warfare. I also thank my teachers, my students, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate level, especially my first BSc project student, Dr. Olusolakpe A.F. Ilusanya, an associate professor. My first MSc project student, Mr. Sonny Isaac Idazi, a director. My first PhD project student, Dr. Titilayo Oyeronke Adeshitan, an associate professor and my current HOD. I also thank Dr. Beulah Bamidele Odumosu, Dr. Benjamin Thoa Thomas, Mrs. Mopelola Odebiyi, Mr. Sunday Abolaji, Dr. Molara Popola, Mrs. Oyewa Oshiyemi, Mr. Abidin Aransi, and others. I also thank my colleagues in my department, my colleagues and research collaborators from other universities, Professor Adekunle Bakare, Emmanuel Ayodele, Akindayo Showumi, Wale Adelowo, Elizabeth Amosun, Foyeke Aduramigba, Professor Taiwo Jeremiah, Professor Bolagade Jonathan, Dr. Adeboye Gashobo Wale of blessed memory, Dr. Esho Fashanu, Dr. Olonjuwon Bello, Professor Anyadiran Aina, Professor Isaac Olayenka Oyewole, Dr. Martins Adefisoye, Dr. Kajethan Ezeamagu, Dr. Morenike Adeoye Shijola, Dr. Samuel Alamadu, Dr. Oluwakemi Thonda, Dr. Kehinde Fagbemi, Dr. Azan Zanot, Professor Latunji Oyelana, VC Christopher University, among others. My spiritual mentor, Pastor Dr. William Folorunsho Kumuyi, and members of Deeper Life in Oyo State and Agoiwoye. Your names are so listed there. I want to thank Professor Ganiu Olatunji Olatunde for giving me the opportunity to serve the university at the management level. I also thank Professor Vincent Wale Ogundero, the HOD under whom I became professor, who taught me a lesson that it is not every man that can be used to do evil. I want to thank my classmate of 1974 to 1979 at Olivet Baptist High School, Olivet Heights, Oyo, ably represented by Venerable Dr. Lukayode Adeshina, Mr. Taiwo Agbanyin, Mr. David Olatunde, Mr. Razak Ayobami Oladipo. I also thank the entire staff of the different departments in my faculty and of the university. Thanks are due to Mrs. Grace Oluseun Matara for excellent secretarial assistance, Professor Joseph Shenu Ashidi for critical review of the lecture, and Professor Sefiu A. Oladonjoye for excellent language editing, including choice of title. I thank my neighbors at Goodness Estate, represented by Mr. Ishewan, for creating a peaceful environment to live and thrive. I also want to thank my late parents who gave their best, but unfortunately are not here today to celebrate their babe. I believe they are in a better place. My brother is here. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I crave your indulgence to ask him to rise up. My brother is here, Mr. Samuel Doshu Efuntoye. Thank you, sir, for giving me a second chance when I lost the first chance through useful exuberance. I would have been a shoemaker if not for the second chance you graciously granted. Also, I salute my other brothers and sisters, Mr. Solomon Efuntoye, Mr. David Afolabi Peters, and Mrs. Abake Akande, my cousin, Mr. Oyewole Ogundiji, and my nephew, pharmacist Oluwaseun Abimbola Efuntoye, for their unqualified love, support, and encouragement. Thanks are due to Professor Najim A. Babarinde, a bosom friend. Kayode Bodurin Olurin, a brother friend. CEO DVC Adekoya, a beloved friend. Joseph Ashidi Adetola Olatunji, Oyeshiku, Kola Odunaike, the general. Dr. Taiwo Moses Samuel, Pastor Moses Adeniji, and Mr. Yola Olasheni Ayodele for being true friends. I want to thank Professor O.A.T. Shotonade for providing the therapy for this lecture. I salute my in-laws, the Aloba at home and in the diaspora, ably represented by Mr. Olaniran Aloba. My appreciation goes to my direct brothers and sisters-in-law, Mr. Sami and Mrs. Buke Adebayo, Dr. Adekunle and Mrs. Ayokunle Dosumu, Mr. Tayo and Mrs. Mary Oladapo Aloba, Mr. Bamidele and Mrs. Majubola Okikiola, alias my daddy, and Mr. Damilola and Mrs. Ibukun Aloba, Baba Ami, Mr. and Mrs. Kunle Fadare, Mr. Shegun and Mrs. Moji Olutayo, Mr. Deji Fadare, Mrs. Funmilayo Adegbite, for giving me the wings to fly. Next to salvation and godliness is a blissful marriage. My wife is here. Can you rise up for recognition? Mrs. Yetunde Olubome Efuntoye, popularly called Yeye, my first lady, and the very crown of my head that confers on me the kingship. Who can find a virtuous woman? And I found one. For her price is far above rubies. Today I am alive by the mercy of God to sing his praise, because she gave me 3 wonderful children. These are my prince and princesses in the king's house. My wife and children provided me the enabling space to achieve, which is phenomenal. This is my story as a family man. I cannot wish anything better. Thank you for being part of my success story today. All glory belongs to the Lord. I dedicate this inaugural lecture to all my students. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. You may have your seats, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Once again, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor, the management and staff of Olabisi Onabanjo University, I want to thank you very much for being part of this 116th inaugural lecture. We thank you particularly our visitors who are visiting this university for the first time. We thank you for coming. This is Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agowoye. We wish you journey mercies back to your respective destinations. Shortly, I'm going to ask the Vice Chancellor to declare this ceremony closed. May I implore you, ladies and gentlemen, to please, after this ceremony is declared closed, to please stand and remain standing until the procession exits in reverse order. We thank you very much for coming. We wish you safe journeys back to your respective destinations. May I now invite the Vice Chancellor to please declare this 116th inaugural lecture closed. Vice Chancellor.
It has been an interesting story. But before I close it officially today, the inaugural lecturer of today has also told you that bread is good. So we have OU bread here. It's very low, there's a low incidence of all this bacteria or fungi in that bread. But our own bread does not even have any. So don't take granola, don't take cake, always go and buy OU bread, right? Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Senate of this great university, I hereby declare 116 inaugural lecture closed.
Please let us remain standing while we have the recession moving out of the hall. Thank you very much. So the members of the immediate family of the inaugural lecturer will follow the last person on the high table. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wishing you journey masses back to your various destinations.